What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Once again in the building, it is the Wait a Minute Show. Your man Jelani JB Bodie is here to talk a little bit about some sports with you, maybe some other stuff. You never know where each and every episode can take us. But I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're hanging out with me, and of course, who will be running everything in the background. Go ahead and get them out the way, ladies and gentlemen. Big Mo is in the building as well. Mo, what's up? Look,
What's up,
look
JB?
at
What's
look,
up? I got
look,
I got
look,
to look over here now.
look at this. Look at this.
What's up?
We talked about this a little bit earlier, but now because this is being recorded, I'm gonna mention it again or whatever. Like you really just gonna have Thelma and Janet Jackson in the background. Like that's not a distraction. Wow.
It's a good kind of distraction, JB. It's a good
Yeah,
distraction.
yeah. But it could be worse. It could be, I don't know. It could be worse.
And
That
listen, we
back
are we know some people that had the Thelma and Janet on the wall, man. Come on, man.
there.
Come on now.
Oh yeah.
We I ain't even gonna get into it, but we know what they meant to us.
And that looked like Thelma right now. So, so
What?
it's like that might be a
Lord have
picture from
mercy.
last year.
Well, look here.
Beautiful. Nice picture.
Let
Nice
me cheer
picture.
if I say.
But
Let me see. Let me cheer if I say the wrong thing on your platform. Don't judge me. What's up, JB? How you doing today, man?
man, I'm good, man.
You enjoy your weekend.
We getting ready for the NBA playoffs to jump off here pretty soon. So, we're gonna be talking about
Hmm.
that. Uh and seemed like when it started getting warm, people started getting crazy. So we'll probably have even more, to talk about through this next 3-4 months before we get to football season. So just jump on the ride with us and ride along because it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I'm glad you're back, Mo. I said it last week, but I'm gonna say it again. Glad you're back.
Well, appreciate it, man.
With
It's good
us.
to be back. Good to
Yeah.
be back.
Yeah. So, uh, while you're here, you don't even need to go anywhere because I'm gonna go ahead, hit you off with it. But everybody know, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications and all that stuff. Follow us. That's how we, keep going each and every day. So make sure you're doing that if you haven't already. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and hang out with us. But Mo, um, this just jumped up, before we were getting ready to jump in this, but we really got to talk about it. Is Coach Budenholzer uh,
Hmm.
released of his coaching duties of Phoenix? So Memphis made a move, Denver made a move. Now Phoenix has made a move. Budenholzer was only there for 1 year. I think this is their third consecutive coach, one and done
It is.
with Phoenix. So I'm going to tell you here's what you tell me what you think, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I just think this is the new wave. This is the new age when it comes to coaching in the NBA. No matter what you have done, you are on notice. Joe Mazzulla,
Hmm.
you are on notice. It's as crazy as it sounds. You are on notice because Bud lost his job, I think, 2 years after winning the championship. Frank Vogel lost his job 2 years after winning the
Hmm.
championship. I think Nick Nurse lost his job 2 years after the
It
winning, and the
sound
list
real
goes on. And
conspiracy theory-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
so this is just the I think it's crazy because because what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mo. Basically, what you're saying is you got 2 years to turn around the entire franchise and put us in a
Yeah.
position to get to the championship, and then you got to win the championship because in 2 years you're going to be gone.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what you tell me.
if you don't have a skill set to go out and build a super team, everybody got to have a big three. You got to be the type of coach that can. I know that's up to the GM, but I mean, the coach is going to be the first ones to fall. We know that. If you don't have the
Mhm.
ability to be able to go out and attract stars and talent to the point to where you competing and even a playoff appearance or finals appearance, it ain't good enough. It ain't good enough.
J-
They want
Jason Kidd,
dynasties. They
you're
want
on the hot seat.
dynasties. Yeah. Everybody on the hot seat. I don't care who.
Yeah.
Listen. Let the Celtics not win a chip this year. In a year or two, hey, just go ahead and start shopping for. Put your house on the market.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's it's frightening.
it is. That's the exact word. It's frightening because at this point, I think the only person that can save you really is is the star player.
Right.
Star player, and if the star player ain't gonna, say anything, then it's a wrap. It's too many cases, out there. Look at here's the other thing. We're talking about coaches that won. Well, let's talk about my team that the Detroit Pistons. They haven't even won anything, and they went
Hmm.
from Dwayne Casey to Monty Williams now to JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's back this year, but JB Bickerstaff might be on the hot seat after this season. So
Hmm. You
it's
just said
it's
something
it's,
though.
it's crazy.
You just said something.
What's
It's
that?
up to the only thing that can save you is the player. What does that say
Player.
about the players right now? Because I think it's damaging to the league to see how they rotating through coaches. And I know you get a little bit of that in the NFL, but typically if you're winning, you're safe. But in the NBA, they rotating coaches left and right. And it's making for a bad product because we already got players that's for the past however many years, they've
Mhm.
been rotating from team to team. But if the players are the ones that can save you and you have a decent coach, I've had some postseason success, whether it's championship or not. I mean, what does it say about the players if they're not standing up for these coaches?
And
If we write about that.
yeah, the crazy part about it, the old adage of winning solves everything, that doesn't even apply no more.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Doesn't even apply. But
You realize
I,
once upon a time, if you won a championship, you got a lifetime contract.
yeah, you got some leeway. They're gonna give you. So
Mike
you
Tomlin.
know what, coach, but he gonna be all right because whatever contract he signed, they still got to pay him all that money, and
Hmm.
he'll land on another roster and everything.
I'm
So
just saying
he's
he's an
straight.
example of that. we
Yeah,
ain't got play,
he's
we ain't
straight.
got coaches like Lenny Wilkins that stayed
Nah,
30 years. But
now,
yeah, I don't like it. I think it's damaging to the league, damaging for the product.
So you brought up a good point. We're gonna move on to the next topic, which is you said not liking it. So not liking. I think there's some people out there that's not liking what's going on at the University of Tennessee. I want to make sure I get this name right, so I wrote it down. Nico Iamaleava. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Iamaleava. I think I am saying that right, but was the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers up until a recent few days ago, and now he has decided to jump into the transfer portal. His coach, Coach Heupel, put in some words out there that can be taken certain ways. I don't know, you do with it as you see, but he was talking about that no one person is bigger than the program, and Coach Heupel was saying not even me at this point. So I bring all of that up is because if you don't know what it's about, this is pretty much about NIL money. And I guess there was some negotiation or maybe an opportunity to renegotiate a deal that he already had, that Nico already had, and that wasn't going to happen. I guess Tennessee said, "No, we can't do that." So Nico said, "You know what? I'm out, and I'm gonna transfer and go somewhere else." I was not expecting this to be available or something like this to happen as soon as it did. I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm just more maybe surprised that it happened as soon as it did. I thought it would be, kind of down the road. And what I'm talking about is that, you basically had a player who was somewhat holding out to get their negotiations right, because the word is that they wanted to renegotiate the deal that he already had. So someone threw out the number that I guess he was making 2.1, and then he got reevaluated and it was like at 4 or something that maybe he could get an NIL deal. So here's what I'm saying. I've never been a hater on somebody getting their money. If you're gonna get your money, get your money. But I guess that it's more of the timing, how it's going to be looked at, because this kid is going to be the poster child for what they're going to say is wrong with college sports, right? And I'm not even going to get into the NCAA because I can go off on a tangent about that, for a while. But I guess my thing is that could this be something that we start seeing even more often? Because we got a little glimpse of it before. People forget about and I forget the kid's name right now, and I apologize, but up at UNLV, where there was now it's not apples to apples, but what I'm saying is that, hey, we discussed XYZ as far as like an NIL deal, and that didn't transpire, and now I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna be on the team. So Nico obviously is a little bit different. It's just that, hey, I think my worth is more than what you guys what we originally agreed upon. I want to revisit this, and Tennessee was like, nah, we're not gonna revisit it. So I I'm just telling you now that this has kind of been expedited, don't be surprised if you see this, from some other kids. Uh what it really goes into is that in the NCAA, the one thing I will say that everybody needs to get on board is the same page. Everybody's not on the same page with this NIL deals and all this stuff. It's kind of its own separate thing depending on what school that you go to. I do agree with there being some type of universal. I don't know if you want to call it a CBA or a collective bargaining agreement, if that's what you want to talk, but it has to be some type of universal guidelines or policy that everyone is falling in, so then everybody can be playing under the same rules. That's for another day. Back to Nico. He's going to the transfer portal. Where are you going? Because at this point, you got to think, what are schools going to think? They'll be like, if he did it to Tennessee, he'll do it. He'll do it to us. I don't know the whole story, about it, and I believe more of it is going to come out. But when you're looking at how this all looks, that is how it looks. Look like, oh, this kid just really want to get the money and he want to be out. I don't believe it's all about that. But I do believe, if you're going to transfer, there got to be somebody out there probably to get you closer to your number. Maybe not get you at your, exact number, but there's more to the story than I think what we initially know. And that's going to come out a little bit later on. I think we haven't heard from Nico. So I do believe that probably Nico or somebody that's a representative of Nico will be speaking on his behalf to give us a little bit more to it. But this is where we're at right now. And do not be surprised if this happens again. So whether you agree that like the kid had leverage or not, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but it happened and it's going to happen again. So you're ready for it. Let's move on to one of Mo's favorite topics, and that is the LA Lakers, right? We talked about the Golden State Warriors, about could they win the championship. So let's just throw the Lakers in there. You obviously who's on the squad with Luka Doncic and all that. We've seen this team. They finished third. They locked up the third spot in the Western Conference, and it's just plain and simple. Can the Lakers win the championship? And I know Mo's going to want to chime in on this. So Mo, you might as well come on back. I said it before when we was talking about the Warriors. I put the Lakers in that category of the top tier teams that I think could win the championship. I think that maybe next year will probably be the year for them really to put everybody on notice. It could change. No, it could change because they went to the Western Conference Final 2 years ago. They ran into Denver, which Denver isn't a slouch of a team, and that team was up and down. And I'm gonna say this: that's a different team with Luka versus AD. It just is. It's not a knock on AD or anything like that. They're a different team. It comes down to, can this team perform like they're capable of performing? So if they do that, oh yeah, the Lakers are going to be a problem this season. I just don't know if that they can beat that team consistently, round in, round out, or whatever you want to say, each and every round that they're going to be playing. But they're definitely in the mix.
You asking the wrong question, JB. The
Okay,
right
what's
question
the
is,
question?
if they are that team, if they do play to their full potential, who can stop them? Who's going to stop them? If the Lakers are clicking on all cylinders, if they playing to their full potential, the way that you've seen LeBron look like prime LeBron this season, right?
Mhm.
We know what Luka is. Nobody expected Austin Reeves to be what he became.
Mhm.
And I doubt if we've seen the ceiling. I mean, listen, if they play to their full potential, who's going to stop them?
I'll tell you who.
Let me ask you that question a different way.
Mhm.
If aside from the Boston Celtics, let's put them aside right now. Let's just stick to the Western Conference. You look at the
Alright.
playoff teams in the Western Conference. Each one of those playoff teams playing at their full potential. Who's the best? It just in your opinion. I mean, this is all subjective.
This is also I'm glad you said that because I'm looking right now. I just wanna
Yeah.
make sure I'm saying what I need
Okay.
to say. So, I think on all cylinders, I think the Denver Nuggets. I think Jokic makes a big difference and cause a major problem, um, for them at that center position. You don't have AD's not there, and I'm not saying AD would have at least kinda slowed Jokic down. You don't have anybody that can slow him down.
Okay. That being said, I think it's a lot of question marks around the rest of the roster as far as being the team that just matches up pound for pound with other
Yeah,
teams in that conference that's playing, at the highest potential that they could play. I think Jokic is an X factor, but at the same time, I mean, come on, man. I don't even know if even if he's playing, top level basketball, if Golden State is clicking on all cylinders, if they can get past them. But I think the Lakers, I think
but
that's
I
that.
we just saw when they played the Clippers. Um, Clippers played them tough, and they needed that that game. They didn't win. It went to overtime, but they James Harden was James Harden, right? And this is what I was talking about, Mo, when I was talking about the Warriors playing against, sub 500 teams for the last 25 games or 500 below. It was a
Hmm.
lot of teams in there. They're not bad. They're not a bad team at all. It's just I just believe that they're going to meet some teams that's at the same caliber as them and give them some problems. And I just believe Denver is above that. I do believe the Lakers, are above that, but Denver, I think, is the most, deadliest team. I think everybody put, OKC in there just because of last year and this year.
Hmm.
Houston, I think, people are probably gonna think they're young, so they're gonna run into, some speed bumps there. But if there's a team, but it's all surrounded and it's the glue is Jamal Murray, though. So
A
whatever Jamal
healthy
Murray
Jamal
is
Murray,
able to. Huh?
A healthy Jamal Murray.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, he has to be healthy because that what Michael Porter do, what Brown do,
Hmm.
and what Russ would do, and Aaron Gordon. Jokic is the guy. Jamal is the glue, though.
And listen, how fun is it to be able to say you got about 4 or 5 teams in one conference alone that anything can happen? You got
That's what
Golden
I love it.
State, you got Denver, you got OKC,
Yeah.
you got the Lakers, right? You got Houston. I mean, it's I don't know. I can't wait for the playoffs. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
I
wait.
do.
I'm actually getting excited about the NBA again, and I ain't said that in a long time.
And I prefer it that way because, we were in that. Look, for them, it's great, and their fan base is great. But we went through that time period where we were just waiting for the Cavaliers and the Warriors to meet in the finals, and
Hmm.
there wasn't as much fun, in that. So with this, yeah, this is a lot of fun because there are different variations. There are different things, on if Minnesota can put it together. I don't know if they're going to be able to put it together, but it's
No.
just like it's so many. It's at least four teams. At least four teams are going to put there. But I will say, going back to what we were talking about, the Lakers. Yeah, I do think they got a shot at winning the championship. But
Absolutely. Because don't forget about
um,
what's going on with the coaching situation in Denver. Who knows if that'll have an impact?
well, I'm
But
glad you say that because that's moving me into the next one, which is the Denver Nuggets. And what do we expect, or what do we think we're going to get from the Denver Nuggets, what to expect going forward in these playoffs. So we talked about Jokic, we talked about Jamal Murray being the glue. Um, these stories that are coming out about Mike Malone and another one, what we were just talking about before with Budenholzer, and everything. So the story that's I guess leaking, if you will, out is that how I guess Mike Malone was talking with players, he was rubbing them the wrong way, and that just kind of got old with the player, which is surprisingly that normally 5 6 years later after maybe like getting eliminated out of the playoffs, then it starts getting old. But I this is a new regime, or this is a new era that we in. And what I expect, we got a little bit of it at the end of the season when they let Mike Malone go. I expect some woosah, woosah. They are like this bear or something probably has been lifted off of them, and then that they can play freely. We've seen that definitely in football when the backup quarterback goes in, or when a coach is let go. It's just the team plays different. Whether they can carry that all the way through, it remains to be seen, but they're capable, like we were just talking about. But I expect to see a team probably play a little bit more freely, probably play together, uh, rally around each other, because you don't have this one voice that seems like it was. When I heard that Mike Malone, was let go, I immediately said it's something with the players. I don't know what it is. I wasn't putting it on a person, but I believed. I was like, there's something going on with the players. That just sounds like they made a change because of the players, whatever it may be. So I expect them, going forward to really play freely, carefree. Um, we're gonna see a little bit of a different look. But again, it's only if Jamal Murray is there. Only if Jamal Murray is there. If there's no Jamal Murray, all bets are off. All right. I know people are like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? No, Jordan didn't get nothing done without Pippen. Shaq didn't get nothing done without Kobe. He had to go to Miami with D Wade. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got the guy, but you got the glue. Got to have the glue. But I expect them to really play some really good ball going into this playoffs. Last thing, we're gonna end up here, and Mo was feeling down last week a little bit. He may still be feeling a little bit down because he got the news that his girl MiLaysia, from now former South Carolina Gamecock basketball player, MiLaysia Fulwiley. And tell me if I'm saying her last name right. Is it Fulwiley? Fulwiley?
For Wally.
Fulwiley. Okay. So MiLaysia Fulwiley, she has decided to enter the transfer portal. I don't think it's been determined where she's going just yet. She's putting that, that together, but this is a little bit reverse, two 2 years there, got a championship the first year, played in the championship just last week, and she said, "I'm out." So now they said, and I'm big on trying to pronounce people names right. So I just want to make sure I'm saying this name right. So what some of it is that Tania Lotson, who I think she was at Florida State, she was averaging a little bit like over 24 points, is transferring to South Carolina. So they're figuring maybe that this is one of the reasons why she's transferring, because this is going to eat into her playing time. Um, I will say this doesn't seem like any type of frustration. I just really do think that she is looking at the lay of the landscape, and she's just like, you know what? I had a good time here. Nothing was bad. I would have preferred to stay 4 years or 3 years, or however way. Oh, I guess 4 years, because Don is really big on her players graduating. So, 4 years just didn't work out that way. I still expect her to go to another team, have success. I think she would probably be even more of a focal point. Will they, have the success maybe of South Carolina? Probably not, but it doesn't have to be. This is more about what's going to be the best for Malaysia going forward. I think at this point. So if this is it, then I'm for it. I don't think there's any malicious intent or some anger or anything like that. But Mo, that's your team. You tell me how you feeling about it.
Um, I mean, Dawn Staley called her a generational star, and she
Hmm.
was. I don't. I mean, as far as her leaving, I guess I done kind of let that settle in. You know how I feel. I'm ticked off about it. I don't want to cuss, but I feel like it. But I think wherever she goes, if it's and I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll probably assume it to be an Under Armour school because of the
Hmm.
whole little NIL situation. I think wherever she go, that I mean, you got a tournament team now that's probably going to go somewhat of a distance or whatever. But Maryland, I think Notre Dame, and I think Auburn about to go to Nike in a couple months, right? I think they're about to be a Nike school.
Okay.
I
I
think
don't
their
know for sure.
contract is up in a few months. But at the end of the day, man, listen, man, whatever she want to do, if that's on her heart like that, I think what it came down to though, she was already complaining about playing time. She young, and I'm pretty sure her parents was thinking about that money too. And if it's an opportunity elsewhere outside of the school, because South Carolina and that brand is all about the team, so it ain't a lot to divvy up. Everybody come together, you win as one piece. That's how Dawn Staley always did it. But she want to be a star, man, and I think if that's
Mhm.
what she wants, she got a darn good opportunity to do that.
I don't know if they're Under Armour, but there's a young lady that's going to the WNBA that's going to vacate a spot, and it's still kinda in the vicinity. What about NC State?
Hey, listen,
It might be a
I
spot.
think that as far because you got to look at it, you try to look at it from how she's thinking about it, how her parents are thinking about it, and then look at it from a basketball standpoint, and that
Mhm.
probably makes more sense than any of those schools. Now I know Maryland is about. I think they just lost a guard, so they need a guard, but I think NC State got a better roster. You know what I'm saying? So
Could
hey,
be.
listen, good
Neighboring
luck, good
state
luck to you.
still.
Little sister, man, go out there and do what you do, but hey, it's a possibility she can come back to South Carolina. I don't
You
think that
think
ship is
so?
sailed. I don't think that ship is sailed. I think she could, they may end up working something out.
I
So
think that's gone, bro.
why? Why?
Because I just believe that this isn't like after the championship, she started thinking about it. I'd really believe that she's been thinking about this maybe probably the latter part of the season, or at least half the season. Like you were just talking about her playing time went down.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just looking if it, this other person that's coming in, um, they're gonna, and I'm not saying she's scared of competition or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't want anybody thinking that. I just think that she's, surveying the lay of the land, like you were just talking about. This is everyone join and play as one and play as a team. And maybe she just feels she's a little bit better suited for a little bit different style. And I just think she's been probably observing and deliberating over it, or thinking about it, talking with uh I think her mom's as well. And
Hmm.
over time they've come to this decision. So I don't think it's just something like just saying, "Oh, I'm out." I think they've
Well,
been thinking about this.
that's fine. You can think about it all you want, but minds can be changed. And my thing is this: you got to look at what type of pressure you about to go into.
Mhm.
Let's say you come back to South Carolina, and now your competition is, the other guards on the roster. But
Mhm.
if you go out there and you jump in another uniform, immediately everybody is going to start comparing you to Haley Van Lent because they saw what she did when she left South Carolina, went on to be Big East Player of the Year, whatever, right? And killed it. Are you able to do that? I mean, I'm pretty sure she got a great chance of doing that. But how likely is that? Because she went and took a team and completely turned that program around by the time that she was there. So she got big
Only
shoes to
one
fill.
only one way to find out.
Ain't but one way to find out. So
Find out.
let's
So,
see what
wish her
happens.
luck. I wish her luck, and I hope
I
she
don't.
has all the success in the world and ball out and do all that stuff, man. So, um, But Mo don't want you to leave. That's what that is. Mo don't want you to leave.
Come on back home.
He wants to be come back
We know
home.
you upset right now. Get out your feelings and come home.
Come on home. Oh man. All right. So we're at the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. Another one that's in the book here at the Wait a Minute Show. Who knows what's going to be next week? Obviously, we're going to be talking about playoff basketball and who's what because we still got some play-in teams that's going to be finalized by the time you see us next time. But then we'll be right around that NFL draft period as well. So we're gonna start talking about that. We're getting close enough because I don't like Mo. I don't like all the mock drafts that be starting like in February. They be like mock draft 1.0. Well, it's not gonna be the same that it was gonna be, right before the draft. So I don't be, focusing on that. Now we're here. We're almost to the lights and the cameras and the action and everything. So then we're gonna get into some NFL draft talk as well. Who needs what, and who will go where? We'll be talking about that in the NBA and other stuff as well. So I'm gonna get out of here. Mo's gonna get out of here. So we're gonna get out of here. Once again, appreciate you for chilling with your boy. Make sure again subscribe to the channel, everyone, because we want you to come on home, as Mo say. Come on home. So for your man Jelani JB Bodie, I'm gonna holler at you later. Two things as always: stay positive and push forward. I'll holler at you later. Peace.